Good morning from day 39 of my 2024 AT journey. It is just before 7 o'clock and I'm a little over a mile into my day. I woke up around 4:30 this morning to watch the sunrise from the shelter, which you saw a little clip of just before this. And it was a chilly morning. I had to put my puffy jacket on. But yeah, that shelter was 0.8 miles and like 450 feet off trail, downhill. I was not pleased walking there last night, but it was a pretty epic shelter location. The shelter itself was like elevated off the ground so that you had a view out above the trees to see the sun rise. And it was very clean, seemed very new. Double decker, sleeps 12. I think there was only 5 of us in there last night. I had the top deck to myself. Water source is literally right next to the shelter. There are lots of tent platforms. There was one tent platform that was actually even elevated above the trees, which was pretty cool. Something new that I haven't seen. And yeah, overall, really cool camp spot. I will say this morning, it did really stink having to hike nearly a mile and 450 feet back to trail, especially when I got on trail and like within 0.2 or 0.3 miles. There were a couple like moderately okay stealth spots. Not sure how protected from the wind they would have been last night though, so I don't know. I don't regret going to that campsite, but I already have a big day, and adding that mile and 450 feet was pretty significant today. So yeah, big day. 15 and a half miles to Liberty Springs campsite, over 5,000 feet of gain. I summit, if I take all the blue blazes I'm planning on, which there's only 2, up Galehead Mountain and Mount Liberty. If I take those both, I'll be summiting 6 4,000 footer peaks today. I am on my climb to South Twin, which is my first of 6. Then after that I descend down to Galehead Hut, and I'll have a blue blaze to Galehead Mountain. I'll just leave my pack at the hut while I summit that. And then I've got Garfield, which is supposed to be pretty difficult. And then I think after that I go to Franconia Ridge, which is Liberty. No, I don't even remember. Lincoln, Lafayette, Liberty is a bonus, Blue Blaze. I feel like I'm forgetting one today, but anyway, gonna keep walking. I really don't feel like doing this big day today, but I'm just reminding myself tomorrow's a Nero, followed by a 0, and I have like 13 hours to do this day, so even if I get into camp late, it's whatever, because I don't need to have an early morning tomorrow. Tent's gonna get wet tonight. I'm gonna be packing up in the rain tomorrow morning, but it will be a town day. See you later. All right, I'm at the summit of South Twin Mountain. Some low clouds this morning. I believe that right there is Franconia Ridge, which is where I'm ultimately heading today. Yeah, in general, I'm not feeling like super strong today. I might cut out the 2 4,000 foot peaks from my day that were blue blaze trails. So I was planning to blue blaze up Galehead Mountain from the hut, which I don't know the exact distance that was, maybe like 0.3 or 0.4 from trail, but a good amount of elevation up. I might cut that one out, and then at the end of my day was gonna be a short blue blaze up Mount Liberty, which I think I'm gonna cut out also. Reason being, like I said, I'm just not feeling super strong today, and I wanna set myself up for success and not be adding particularly Galehead so early on in my day and end up like causing myself to lose too much energy or something. Secondly, I do want to come back and do the Pemi loop with Jordan at some point. I know I've mentioned before in Maine when I skipped Mount Abraham because it was 1.7 miles off trail. I mentioned that Jordan is also collecting 4,000 footers. So like he and I will have to come back and do a lot of these peaks anyway, unless he comes out in sections, you know, the AT or whatever. But even if he did, like I do still have a goal of doing the Pemi loop, either in a day or as a singular overnight. And the Pemi loop would get, I mean, all the peaks that I'm doing yesterday and today, but it would also include Galehead, Liberty. I think it would also include Flume too, which is right next door to Liberty, and the Bond Cliffs, perhaps. I don't know, I have to look at the Pemi loop again, but so like this isn't my only opportunity to summit these mountains is what I'm saying. And my primary goal is to get over Franconia Ridge today, because of the weather coming in tomorrow, and I don't want to like totally destroy myself trying to do that today. So the more I can do to help myself succeed and not hate life, the better. So, you know, maybe something will change when I get down to Galehead, but I doubt it. I'll come back to do that one another time. So I am now starting my descent down. It's like 0.8 miles downhill, down off South Twin, and I will be getting to Galehead Hut, where I think I'm gonna take a pack break, and I'm gonna use the bathroom and fill up my water, and maybe cash in my second free baked good, because I don't necessarily know how many more huts I have left to pass in the Whites, and I want to make sure I get that free baked good. So see you there. All right, so I'm walking up to Galehead Hut now. It's like 8:15, so I'm hoping there's going to be some breakfast leftovers. Let's go find out.
And then from here, there's a trail that takes us down.
Oh, the Galehead going up the Galehead Peak starts here.
Yeah.
All right, so I just left the Galehead Hut. They did have some breakfast leftovers. They had pancakes, but I didn't take any because they were like kind of burnt. And instead, I realized this is going to be the last AMC hut that I go directly by. The only other one I have left would be the Greenleaf Hut, which is like a mile downhill off of Franconia Ridge. So like I'm not going to be going there unless something crazy happens. But since it was going to be the last hut, I decided I should use my final free baked good on my through hiker pass. So they had gingerbread like cake, iced gingerbread cake, a handful of pieces. So I took one and then checked in with one of the crew members and I said, hey, like I want to use my free baked good for this. And they were like, oh, what's today? Monday? And I was like, yeah. Like, it's a 2-for-1 day. You can take 2 if you want. So, again, I ended up with getting 4 free baked goods from the huts with my through hiker pass, which is only supposed to be 2 baked goods. So I had 2 pieces of gingerbread cake, which was delicious. I almost couldn't finish the second one. Like, that's how filling they are. I took the biggest piece for my first one, and then I took like a medium-sized piece for my second one. Summit of Mount Garfield. All right, I'm sitting probably about 2/3 of the way up Mount Lafayette. The summit is up past that bump. It's still about 0.8 miles away, and about 500 feet or so. I just needed to take a quick sit break to get some water and some food in me. I pushed pretty hard coming up the ridge. I was trying to push for a solid mile before I quit, or not quit, but before I stopped to rest. So now I should be able to hopefully push the rest of the way up to the summit. But yeah, that mountain right back there is Mount Washington. I was there, what was that, 3 days ago? This mountain right here, I believe, is South Twin. I was there this morning. And then Mount Guyot, I think, was that one, according to my Peak Finder app, which is also where I was near this morning. So I've come a long way to get here. It's a beautiful day still. There's some clouds coming in, but nothing crazy. Let me zoom out. There we go. I refreshed the forecast for tonight, and it looks like rain is going to start around 8 p.m. So that is my, like, ultimate goal, is to get to camp like by like 7. That way I can be set up and have dinner done and be in my tent by 8 o'clock when the rain starts. It's a bummer that I'm gonna get wet tonight, like that my tent's gonna get wet, and I'm gonna have to pack up in the rain with a wet tent tomorrow morning. But it's whatever. I'm going into town, so I can lay it out to dry. Speaking of going into town, let me turn the camera around. So yeah, speaking of going into town, I texted the number for the Old Colony Ski Club. I think they're out of Lincoln. Lincoln or Woodstock, one of the two. Like, those towns are right next to each other. I texted them because I've heard great things about this place from hikers this year. Honestly, I haven't heard about it ever prior to being on trail, but it's supposed to be super cool. You pay $50 for your first night, and it gets you like an access to like their ski club, like a membership. So like, I don't know, it's like some private ski club or something, and I'll have access to come back and ski. I don't know. It seemed cool. And they do like free shuttle pickups. They do free shuttles into town. They're in walking distance to a lot of stuff. I think they have bikes that you can take out if you don't want to walk. And they also do slack packing, which I'm not going to do. And then if you stay subsequent nights, it's only $25 for your next night. So I am going to be narrowing in tomorrow, like 3 to 4 miles, paying $50 for that first night, and then I'm going to be zeroing the next day. So that next night is only going to be $25 for 2 nights. Then that's $75, which is like cheaper than staying at the Notch hostel. I think their bunks are around $45 to $50. So 2 nights at the Notch would be $100, and they're not in walking distance to anything. So yeah, staying there. Excited to check it out and see what it's about. And then I'll be doing 2 moderate days after that, and then on that second day Jordan is here. He comes in Friday. Today is Monday. Friday night I will be staying at the Notch. I'll be getting to Kinsman Notch on Friday, so I'll go into the Notch hostel, and I have a private room there, so that when Jordan gets in late, he's not disturbing people. And then he's gonna hike with me for 2.5 days, so super exciting. But I think I'm feeling rested now. I'm gonna take a little bit of water to drink, and then I'm gonna start up this final 0.8, I think I said, 500 feet. 1 foot in front of the other. That's the kind of day it is today. See ya. Mount Lafayette. I just did a quick up and over, didn't even stop. There's too many people on this part of the trail, which is a Monday, and there's significantly less than I think there is on a weekend. But there was about 20 too many people for me up on that summit. Because it's a little bit breezy, so I wanted to descend a little bit, and I'm going to try to find like a spot that's a little bit protected from the wind. I got to get some more food out of my food bag in my pack because I've eaten through all my food in my fanny pack. But I'm on the descent now. Ahead of me I've got Franconia Ridge, that is I think Mount Lincoln right there. That's my next peak. Last peak for the, no, not last peak for the day, last 4,000 footer for the day. I do have to go over another little peak that's not a 4,000 footer on my way down to the campsites. I'm under 4 miles to camp. Time is 2:11, so I think I'm doing good. I don't have much left to climb. I think I'm only a couple hundred feet. So the day is shaping up to hopefully be a nice time into camp. Alright, so I'm approaching the last summit for the day. I think it's called Little Haystack Mountain. Just wanted to do a final look at the ridge for you guys. You can see out there in the distance, that's Mount Washington. And up in the background, that's Mount Lincoln. Just came from there. You can't see Lafayette from this vantage point. But yeah, it's a beautiful day. While it was hard condensing my 3 days into 2 days to be up here on a good weather day versus a stormy day, it was worth it. Alright, I'm in my final 0.3 miles down to camp. I just went by where the cutoff to go up to Mount Liberty would have been. Again, I've decided to skip the extra credit Blue Blazes today. And I'm really glad that I did because I'm just feeling very spent. But yeah, so it's 0.3 down to camp and about 300 feet of descent. It's still only 4:20, so I should be there probably within 10 minutes, maybe 15. Because I'm just going kind of slow. My knees are hurting. I took some ibuprofen just a little bit ago to help on this descent that I just did down from the ridge. And it's helping a little bit. I try not to overdo it, so I only took 1 pill instead of 2. But yeah, when I get to camp, I'm gonna get my tent set up. Well, first I'm probably just gonna sit and stare into the abyss. And then I will get my tent set up. And then get some things charging. My phone is down to 13% battery, so I gotta get that charging. Gotta charge my watch tonight too. And then I will get dinner going. I just have a stick of salami. I've got some sliced Colby Jack cheese. And I have some pita pockets. That's what I had for dinner last night also. I didn't feel like bringing anything that I had to cook for these 2 big days because I knew when I got to camp the last thing I would want to do is cook. So just have that for tonight. And yeah, that's gonna be my night. So I may or may not check in again when I'm at camp and set up to show you around. Depends how I'm feeling and what all's going on. So I'll see you later. Bye.